Hey guys, Delta here, and today I'm going to be talking about my top 3 games of E3 2013. They're not in any particular order, but these are the 3 games that caught my attention the most, and that I am the most excited for heading into the second half of 2013 and beyond. So, as you can see by what's been on screen for the first 20 or so seconds here, the first game is Tom Clancy's The Division. This was a surprise announcement by Ubisoft. It was, they saved it for the end of their conference the same way they did Watch Dogs last year. No one knew it was coming. Somehow they managed to keep that a secret. I don't know how Ubisoft's doing that. Their conferences generally suck, but they managed to keep these games a secret. Looks really cool. It's following what seems to be the trend in the industry right now for these co-op, survival, MMO, persistent world type of games that we've been seeing a number of coming out in the last year, and going to the next generation, we're seeing a lot more games going with that kind of style, which I worry it'll become oversaturated. Those kinds of games are really fun to play, but they do get oversaturated when you get too many of them, for any genre, obviously, but hopefully that doesn't happen this time around. I can hope it probably will. So yeah, again, it's set in the Tom Clancy universe. I'm not really sure how. Apparently Ubisoft just owns the rights to use the name on any game they like. So it's not a Tom Clancy novel, it's not based on any of his work, it's just, his name's just kind of on the box. So, it just looks really cool. The gameplay looks like a standard third-person shooter, but you have this huge, very real-looking version of New York. You're in Brooklyn in the demo, and, you're surviving. It didn't really elaborate on much beyond that. The user interface looks fantastic. The story kind of interests me. It's a virus has been spread on like a dollar bill or something, and the entire world went to hell on Black Friday all days. A fantastic day for the gaming industry, but apparently not so much in this game. So things go to hell, and that's really all we know. The world's kind of falling apart. I think they say it's 3 weeks into the collapse of society. And the thing that was really cool, the things that were really cool for me were the tablet integration, so having guys in your squad who can come in on a tablet and fly like a drone around and help you out. That just seems cool. And then after they storm the building at the end of this demo, they exit the building, and all of a sudden here's another squad of human players who have come to attack them to try and steal their loot from them. That kind of stuff, that's just cool. I mean, I love that games are kind of blending single player and multiplayer. And again, I worry that it's going to become too overdone and too oversaturated, because I still enjoy my good, single player only games and my good multiplayer only games. But I really do like the way that they're combining the two together and then throwing in the tablet integration a lot this generation. It's something it feels next generation. It's something that's really new. So that's one of the games. The next game is Destiny. Bungie is finally making their way to the PlayStation consoles. They're no longer Microsoft owned. They have a partnership deal with Activision, and they're releasing multi-platform. And this game just looks cool. It looks fantastic, actually.
Hey guys.
It looks kind of like a larger, more serious Borderlands in some ways. I know it's not an MMO, but it's continuing this blending of single and multiplayer. And it has a huge, persistent world. And for one, the frame rate doesn't go to hell when you play co-op, at least in the demo they showed. That's my biggest beef with Borderlands on console, is that when you get more than 2 people together playing co-op, it drops to 10 frames per second in combat, and it's horrible. But back to Destiny, it just looks cool. I like... I've been trying to find a game with good RPG elements that I can really sink my teeth into, because it's hard for me to get into a lot of role-playing games as much as I'd like to. I generally end up going for these ones that are kind of lighter on the RPG features, but I want to get a game that is a little more heavy on them, but isn't, really inaccessible. Like Skyrim, for example, for me, I just could not get into. It felt too inaccessible to me. It felt too hardcore. Hopefully, Destiny's a little friendlier. It's got, again, comparing it to Borderlands, because that's probably the biggest comparison going around right now, is it's got a bit more of a sci-fi vibe, I guess. I'd say that, obviously Borderlands is science fiction or sci-fi, but I'd consider it a little more science fantasy, comparing Star Wars and Star Trek. Star Wars is more science fantasy, Star Trek is more science fiction. So I got kind of that kind of vibe for it. And of course, the big transition when it went from just the 3 people in their squad at the one point in the demo when they're all together after getting on the other side of the wall, to transitioning into a public event and having a bunch of other fire teams coming in and helping take down this massive, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called. I think it's a spider walker or something like that. This giant freaking walker thing. And watching, 9 players, like 6 more players, all of a sudden come out and join your 3 players out of nowhere, and everything just going crazy. It looked amazing. It looked so awesome, and that kind of stuff gets me really excited. Again, it's one of those things you see in games right now, in some of the games that we're showing off right now, that truly feels like a next generation game, not just stuff that we saw this generation that has a shiny new coat of paint, right? And then finally, a PlayStation 4 exclusive, Infamous Second Son. Yes, I love Infamous. The first Infamous was actually probably the first game that I bought, and I came home with it, and I just absolutely plowed through it. Like, I played like 5 hours a day for a week straight, probably more actually, and more per day. It was a week, and I finished the game, and like 30-40 hours to complete everything, and I just absolutely loved it. The sequel was really good as well, but it kind of lost something that I found really special and unique about it in the first, and I think a large part of that was that it was an origin story and it felt a lot more grounded. Second Son looks to be back to that kind of way. It's a little more realistic, a little more grounded, and it's an origin story, and I'm excited. And you know what? For once we have a hero who's become a superhero and isn't all reluctant about it, like, oh, woe is me, I got superpowers, my life sucks. He's like, I got superpowers. This is kind of fucking awesome. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that. One of my favorite series, a new hero, a new city. It's gonna be cool wandering around Seattle, or this recreation of Seattle, because I've been to Seattle a number of times. So it'll be interesting seeing like landmarks that I actually know, kind of in this universe. New powers. The gameplay looks really fun and really smooth. The graphics look fantastic. Infamous was never a powerhouse graphically, but this game looks phenomenal. And then like I was saying, exploring Seattle is how many games are set in Seattle, right? I actually can't think of any. And of course, I mentioned new powers, but Delsin's power is the ability to siphon powers off other conduits, which just sounds crazy. I can't even think of the possibilities you can get from that. So you can have his smoke powers, lightning, fire, like all these crazy different things. It's just going to be really fun. It's not releasing till Q1 2014. I believe it's February it's releasing. Actually, none of these games are releasing till 2014, but they're the games I'm most excited about out of E3. Some honorable mentions go out to Mirror's Edge and Battlefront. I didn't put them on the list simply because we know next to nothing about them. And then, of course, Killzone Shadowfall. I'm a huge Killzone fan. But it is another shooter, even though it looks like they're doing some new stuff in the series. It's still another shooter, so it doesn't really jump above the 3 games I've just been talking about. Anyways, what were your 3 favorite games, or what 3 games got you the most excited at E3? Let me know in the comment section down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.